Welcome to the Great Wrestling Debate, everybody. We're coming off of what, many describe as a pretty action-packed edition of Monday Night Raw last night.
Yes.
A lot of matches, although a lot of matches to me that, they're kind of just like thrown together, it seemed.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of obscure matches, I think. Del Rio against Kofi Kingston. I don't know, that was definitely one of them. The match I liked tonight was the fans poll match with Randy Orton and Biggie Langston, and that's definitely a something very telling if with the results of that poll.
That nobody gives a crap about Dolph Ziggler and the Miz anymore.
Miz, yeah. I'm glad.
I actually was gonna laugh if Dolph Ziggler won that poll because it has the effect about Biggie Langston getting pushed to the roof and no fans give two craps about the guy. It was clear who WWE wanted to win that poll based on who they had there.
Yeah, I think that's a good starting point.
I mean, like I said, supposedly these things are actual votes. Like these things aren't fixed. Supposedly, these are supposed to be actual votes here.
Yeah.
So WWE is put out. It's almost like I don't know. It's almost like elections. Really, they're clearly endorsing a candidate here, but really in the end, you can endorse somebody and the guy can still lose.
In the past, and of course in the past, some of these polls have been questionable. But I
think people are still questioning how Bob Backlund got more than Booker T. But I think it's because we've seen Booker T before. We haven't seen Bob Backlund before, and
right.
And it was a solid match there. Hey, you should vote for Bob Backlund because he would have not screwed Dan Brown like Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if Bob Backlund actually won that and got phoned in that, and he was the quote unquote guy that screwed Daniel Bryan?
Yeah.
How weird the storyline of took then, pretty much.
Yeah. But this poll to me was it was more lopsided than I thought it would be. I would have
70% of the votes.
70 some. Wasn't it like
and Miz and Ziggler barely got 10%.
I would have thought that Ziggler would have had maybe like 25% at least.
Yeah, I thought maybe something.
Maybe
like
the Miz at 10%. I don't know.
I was going more 5 maybe. At this point.
Yeah, 5.
The guy's pretty
10 at most.
But no.
Those two guys were a little closer, and let's face. Miz hasn't had a significant push in a long time,
and Ziggler just beat the U.S. champion.
Yeah, and Ziggler was at least world heavyweight champion.
So in a Continental champion.
Yeah.
So
Ziggler was at least world champion earlier in the year. But, here it's like...
And Miz main event WrestleMania at one point.
Yeah. Now, on the flip side...
the Nick Foles maybe here.
Yeah.
Let's go in the record book there. He was in the main event, and he beat the guy at the main event.
Yeah.
But yet, what has he done since, pretty much?
Right. And on the flip side... we've seen Miz and Orton. We've seen Ziggler a few times, I think, and Orton in recent months. And,
Orton was one time a Ziggler believer. He thought Ziggler was a great boper. He made anybody he worked with look like $1 million.
Right.
That's really one of the reasons why Ziggler got pushed, because you had all these top guys praising the guy's work ethic.
Right.
Man, the politics of wrestling is always interesting.
Right.
They could like you one night and then they hate you the next night.
Yeah, I think this was a good...
I'm hearing stories. Biggie Langston is John Cena's boy right now.
Yeah.
So as long as you got the face of the company backing you got a shot.
Yeah,
but to be fair, Zack Ryder had the backing of John Cena. That
we saw how that turned out.
That fell apart pretty fast, but
at least Langston.
But also creative, I think, is on this guy's side too. This is Vince's favorite kind of wrestler.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He has a big,
He's
ginormous build for a 5'11" guy.
Yeah, that's the thing.
He's small, almost as he's almost as
very
heavy.
wide yet very quick. Definitely,
yeah.
Kind of like a younger Mark Henry. I almost feel
like he'll do.
Mark Henry at one point had some had some legs in there.
Yeah, he'll do
he had some speed to him.
Yeah, he'll do some of these splash moves. And,
definitely.
Yeah, and so this was a good. I thought this was a good match. He went for his finisher and then, countered into an RKO.
Yeah.
So, but...
Well, Orton's not losing.
Exactly.
To me, this was a test for Langston. How could he... Because like I said, much like Ryback here, could he work safe? Could he work well? Would the fans even give a damn if he won the match or not? Based on the crowd action, I think they were buying into him. So,
And
I'd say he passed the test.
Right, and based on the poll results,
he's clearly the fans clearly want to see this guy. Yeah.
Now WWE can say, all right, well, let's keep backing this guy because I've Ziggler and for a whopping 25% combined, I guess, with the Ziggler and Miz, so.
Oh boy.
So yeah, I mean that's I think this is good with Big E Langston.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see where it goes. And I guess on main event, which I haven't really tuned into.
Nobody does.
Yeah, he's facing Curtis Axel now. So the match they were supposed to have.
Wait, advertising. I wouldn't buy that. 9 out of 10 times they advertise something that had a main event doesn't happen.
And then okay,
because somebody changes the card the next night. The next night they say because no, we're not going to do this match on the main event.
And maybe they figure they can get away with it too because it seems like
nobody watches it. First of all, it's Ion, which doesn't scream wrestling to me.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, look at all the other shows on on Ion, and I'm like, how's professional wrestling on this network?
Yeah, I mean, I've been really yeah, exactly. I mean, main event hasn't been relevant in until since they started it.
Well, to me, it filled SummerSlam. I mean, it filled Superstars up, yet Superstars still is airing somewhere.
Right. Yeah, but I mean that's whatever, I guess. But yeah, I mean then more on the downside. I mean, there are a lot of other matches that kind of seem thrown together here. Again, I mean, Del Rio and Kofi Kingston seem to be out of the blue. Kofi Kingston has kind of been more of a jobber in recent months. And then,
like I said, he's the Barry Horowitz now of the WWE.
Yeah.
He's a jobber that can make anybody like $1 million.
Yeah.
He's still a great worker, but that's all he's going to be credited for right now is a great worker. His shot came when he had that small push against Orton that one time. That was the closest he ever came to the main event ceiling.
Yeah. And yet
Randy Orton's the reason why he kind of fell off that ceiling.
Yeah. And I mean, again, and I don't get it, with the story with John Cena. I mean, the only time they really have, anything that really has to do with each other is, at the pay-per-view Hell in a Cell when they face each other. Other than that, I mean, tonight...
Well, he beat him for the belt at that, I think it was Night of Champions, when the ring was partially broken, too, when they did that whole Big Show Mark Henry top turnbuckle
one. Yeah. A while ago.
Yeah. Actually, she said Cena won... Was it Night of Champions or was it Vengeance he won it? He won one night and he lost that. I mean, won the first pay-per-view, then he lost the next pay-per-view.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, here, all really... Del Rio. I mean, there's I didn't even see SmackDown though, so maybe I don't know what happened between those those two guys. But I mean, here, it's just like Del Rio sits on and watches this 6-man tag match with
Zeb
John
Coulter.
Cena.
Zeb Coulter of all people too.
Yeah.
Who apparently does not hate him for being a greedy, lazy,
but I mean
potentially illegal.
Right.
Continuity in WWE.
But yeah, I mean, there's no promos here between Del Rio and Cena, and there's the idea of bringing prestige back to the world title, and then it's like there's no story going on here, and then also I like what Solomonster pointed out last week. Actually, they were still the commentators, including Jerry Lawler and Michael Cole, were still calling Orton the face of the WWE. This was after Cena won the World Championship.
Yeah.
And, so, I mean, it's not really adding prestige to the world title.
Well, like I said earlier, and this is also the Solid Monster, that title died when Triple H no longer held the belt anymore. Or wished to even hold that belt.
Yeah.
Because he's Triple H and, he's Triple H.
Right. And the point here is that, if they're not really having any kind of story with it, it doesn't really matter that, John Cena has the belt, as highly regarded as he is.
I'm actually just curious who's going to feud with after WWE. Logic says Damian Sandow. Because he was in the 6-man tag, it sounds like he's not out of this.
Definitely.
He definitely wants some payback here.
Yeah.
I mean...
Definitely.
I don't know if the Real Americans are next in line for a title shot against the Rhodes family or not.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still waiting for Cesaro to get that face turn finally.
Right. Yeah.
Once again, a giant pop for the giant Cesaro swing, pretty much.
Yeah. So
Well, he swung Goldust around 20 times.
Definitely,
he's not skinny or anything.
Yeah, he's a pretty tall guy. So I mean, I mean, so yeah, we're waiting on a Cesaro face turn definitely down the road and a push. Maybe he'd have to be from, the real American.
Well, to me, that's his first shoot is Jack Swagger.
Yeah.
And they kind of teased that. I mean, did Cesaro take out Calder accidentally?
Didn't Cena kind of throw him into Calder?
Or whatever, but the point is usually when somebody gets thrown into a manager,
Calder
they're the ones that get shit canned eventually from the group.
Yeah. So I mean, who knows? Maybe next week, Calder will call Cesaro out on that. I mean, who knows? Or on SmackDown.
Well, they're going to turn. I think it's going to be after they lose to maybe the Rhodes,
maybe
the
bigger deal match, maybe
a title match. Exactly.
Yeah, that too.
He might have cost his team the championships. Maybe that's how you do it.
Yeah, but I mean, again, the bottom line is, hopefully, if Sandow is next in line, I would think that they'd actually have a story going here, unlike what they have with Del Rio and Cena.
Well, the only thing you can really go on is that he's still paranoid over losing money in the bank, pretty much.
Right.
I mean, that's the only thing I can think of there. I mean, like I said, supposedly he's high on everybody's high on this guy pretty much now. To them, he passed the eye test last week against Cena.
Right.
He looked like he was a guy that people took serious as could actually beat Cena for the belt.
Yeah, I mean, it was
that too. And his T-shirt has the best catchphrase.
Oh yeah,
what's it? I think, therefore, I am better than you, or something.
On the back, greater than you, or something.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Therefore, and then ... and then on the back, greater than you.
Yeah, I think, therefore, I am. I am better than you, or greater than you. Which is so true if you think about it.
Yeah, I mean that's
thinkers aren't better than anybody else.
And I mean, he's I like his pro. I mean, they don't give him a lot of promo time, but when they do, it's good.
No, but I mean, like doing the Sheamus feud, he would do like these genius challenges to Sheamus, and Sheamus would just be a bully to the man and cheat to win, like arm wrestling and all that stuff, and trying to untie a knot or something.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, have you seen Sheamus's photo leak recently at an event?
Yeah, he's shaved.
He shaved and he got a new haircut.
And
too.
Mark Henry,
he looks so different now.
Yeah, and Mark Henry got rid of. I think he had a buzz cut.
Huh.
I saw a picture of him. I forget. Was it a buzz cut or was he shaved bald?
Well, buzz cut I can believe because when he first came here, he didn't have more hair when he came in. He had buzz cut when he came in.
Right. He didn't have the dreads.
When he was originally All-American Mark Henry, Olympic champion. I always want to say Kurt Angle was the first Olympic champion. No. Mark Henry was the first world, something...
Powerlifting.
Powerlifting champion that came in here.
Some kind of powerlifting,
Yeah, I don't know. He won some championship somewhere.
Yeah, as did Biggie Langston. For a weight class, I think Langston...
Yeah.
It
looks like based on what I'm seeing, he really loves the bench press a lot.
Yeah.
He's got
big pecs.
He's got the pecs to bench maybe 500 pounds, maybe.
Yeah. Probably more. Definitely. Yeah. So.
Don't know how much he can squat though. That's a very odd shaped squat.
I mean, he's a powerlifting guy, so I would think he can squat.
Yeah.
Have to look.
I mean, he's also kind of small too, and usually they have an advantage.
Yeah.
Like I said, not to mention if he's a buddy with Cena, that means he works out probably a lot with Cena.
Yeah.
And if you all seen Cena's workout videos, he's a beast in the weight room.
Yeah. So, I mean,
yeah,
it's a good sign there. Other match. I mean, there were several matches. I mean, Ryback against Great Khali. I mean,
I actually thought that based on this whole Ryback in the doghouse deal. They were gonna have him lose to Khali.
I would hope
and
not.
That was it.
I mean, I would hope not. But...
Or if anything else, have Satiro just take the damn Cobra out and just attack him because that would be just as worse as the Great Khali. Or have Hornswoggle, I don't know, do a frog splash on him or something. I mean, you name it. Any of those things would have happened. It would have not looked good for the guy.
Yeah, but I mean, it appears now with Paul Heyman being sidelined. I guess it looks like Ryback kind of went back to the bullying idea that they had going back in the late summer still.
That is thinking what they said they were going to happen. Like I said, they don't want him. They still refer to him as a Paul Heyman guy, not a former Paul Heyman guy, still a Paul Heyman guy.
Just with Paul Heyman not around.
But yeah, and really, like I said, I don't see him come back till. And really, the guy who's really going to suffer more from this, I think, is Curtis Axel, because
he's kind of
Oh man, what could have been with that team? I mean. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I really don't think he's been. Anything's been added to him.
Yeah,
and at one point, this guy was like, Triple H was high on this guy at one point. Right. I mean, the CEO of the company, Tyler, was high on this guy. Yeah. I mean, how he trained The Rock for WrestleMania.
Right. Yeah,
to get him back in shape, and made him not hurt the Golden Child as John Cena. Yeah. So I mean, the guy's passed tests and shown that he can wrestle now. And all Willie Paul Heyman's job is going to do is just give him a character.
Yeah.
Okay, if he has a character, give him the microphone and see what he can. If he's improved his promo somewhat.
Yeah.
I mean, but losing now to Ziggler, a guy that's the other thing that really hurt him too. I think that Ziggler had like almost no percentages, right. and now Axel loses to Ziggler. Where's it put Axel down? Axel down the totem pole that is WWE right now. Right. Because Ziggler's not high on the totem pole right now.
Yeah.
And yet he beats Axel clean. So where does it put Curtis Axel on the totem pole?
Right. Yeah, I mean I think
maybe slightly above the Miz and like Santino Morello or something like that.
Yeah. I think the emphasis of that story, being that CM Punk has to get his hands on Paul Heyman. I don't think that really helped those guys.
No.
But we'll see what comes out of it. I mean,
I still think
the whole Ryback. I mean, I still
think the whole Brock Lesnar thing really screwed it up. Because that was when this feud was at its hottest moment. I thought really, maybe because it was a dream match. Brock Lesnar, Punk. This was something that some people always wanted to see. Once Paul Heyman was back in WWE,
two Paul Heyman guys.
Yeah, I mean, like someone said, believability is always going to be a problem here because Punk isn't the big guy and Brock Lesnar is a former UFC champion. So. But Punk does not have a small MMA background too. So, I mean, like I said, they put in a great match. I mean, he's Lesnar's best match since he came back. So Punk accomplished that, and I mean, like I said, after that, what you go from Lesnar to Curtis Axel, you're dead. Because what's like Lesnar ever put over this young guy when he was ever on camera with him? He kind of actually ignored him if you think about it. I mean, I'm sure behind the scenes they've talked and. He gave him some pointers there because Paul. What they do about Paul Heyman in real life is that he never really let anybody go unless they deserve to be let go, pretty much.
Yeah.
In other words, if he listened and knowing Curtis Axel, the one thing that people know about is that he is very respectful towards a lot of legends.
Yeah.
So he's not like it's not like he's like, oh, I'm his perfect son. I mean, I'm a third generation superstar here. You gotta respect me here. I mean, he actually knows he has to work his ass off because. Name doesn't matter.
Yeah.
For example, Ted DiBiase Jr., who no longer works for the company anymore.
Yeah, and I mean, and the shame of this story, I mean, to me in retrospect, I mean, logically thinking, I mean, the night after, if CM Punk wanted to get his hands on Paul Heyman, I mean, he could have hit around a corner backstage, and then when Paul Heyman pops out, and then CM Punk pops out and just starts.
But how do you sell pay-per-view buys then?
I know. I mean, that's the thing, though. I mean, to accomplish this, and then they could have done something different.
You don't just do that on free television. You're crazy.
Or they could have done.
Communist bastard.
They could have done it at a pay-per-view.
This is America, Darren. We still live in capitalism.
Yeah. I mean, if they wanted to, then they could have saved it for Night of Champions, I guess. I don't know. Because other than that, I mean...
Some B show that nobody ordered.
Yeah.
Thank God it didn't happen at Battleground, a show that definitely nobody wanted to order.
Yeah. Yeah, so...
I mean, it happened. He got his hand, he beat the hell out of Paul Heyman.
It took a few pay-per-views, and, finally...
They wanted to milk it for all it was worth, Tyler.
Yeah, but I mean, it just...
Sometimes you get a few stale moments in there. Yeah. I mean, it happens.
But I mean, it just, it just didn't... Other than that, I mean, it didn't help. It kind of wasted time.
Back in the SummerSlam thing, the one thing I regret about the prediction between Lesnar and Punk was that I did not want to see this Paul Heyman Punk feud end after only one or two pay-per-views.
Yeah.
But then I also didn't want to see someone else take Brock Lesnar's spot.
Yeah.
Because I realized Brock Lesnar was one of the reasons why I was into this feud also.
Right.
And I was pretty much right. I think I got kind of bored of this feud after Axel got involved. And even when Ryback got involved, I mean... except for the part where he almost killed Punk that one time.
Yeah.
I mean, really, he didn't add anything to the feud either.
Yeah, and I mean it's yeah. I mean I don't quite. I would have thought that when added Ryback in there, be more creative with it, but I like yeah. I mean it was just kind of secondary to getting hands on Paul Heyman in the long run. So
like I said, the whole point of that feud was Paul Heyman Punk. Even when Lesnar was involved, Lesnar was just filler. Although even Lesnar cut a promo saying this is a filler. I want to beat the hell out of this small guy. I mean he says like some stuff like that because he says I'm Brock Lesnar and that's what I do or something.
Right. Yeah. And then say something stupid, Paul. So
it was just the way he said to like Brock when it was Brock that they never really lost even in the UFC. He always had that like intimidating presence on when he was interviewing somebody.
Right.
Like. He was still in character or not. Like even during UFC pay-per-views, I think he kind of was still talking like his WWE character. Was he always give that look like I want to like beat the hell out of this guy probably?
Yeah.
And just him saying like something stupid like that, it's just funny because his reaction just screamed the complete opposite of what came out of his mouth.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, Paul Heyman here on the phone,
crying,
crying, I guess, and so that with Michael Cole. And then, so I mean,
Michael Cole.
So from here, I mean, basically now Punk and Bryan teaming up against the Wyatt family.
No. Shield 2.0.
Well, okay, if you want to put it that way.
Let's face it, dude. This is the replacement.
It does feel.
You just take one 3-man team out, you put another 3-man team right in.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I mean, the Shield aren't disbanded yet, but still, you can see where this is going.
They're teasing.
Yeah, exactly.
They're teasing it. In fact, you even look at.
You can see where it's going.
I even looked at the beatdown for Big Show, and even Reigns kind of had a reaction like he did not like what he was doing. Kind of. I wouldn't say he was hesitating, but he kind of looked like a look of disgust on his face. Like Ambrose was smiling; he was enjoying this. It makes me think this guy's gonna stay a heel for life.
Clearly,
pretty much.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins, I don't know what his look was, but Roman Reigns almost kind of had almost like a look of kind of like, and even like last week when Reigns was. Well, obviously, with the Ambrose one, everybody saw Reigns kind of got a very dirty look after Ambrose was like, I'm the only champion left in this group, and obviously Reigns wanted to beat up the hell out of Big E Langston. His team was holding him back on SmackDown, and even like I said, during the Triple H Randy Orton when they were like hugging each other, and then Reigns just looked at that kind of like and had like a dirty disgust on his face, like I could beat this guy probably.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that'd be a cool direction to maybe go with down the road. I mean,
we'll see, but. Clearly, Roman Reigns is the guy that looks like he's going to come out of this group as they're going to push to the moon. I think.
Yeah, which I'd be fine. I mean, they never even like when the Shield have lost matches in the past. Reigns is never the guy that takes the pin.
No, it's usually Seth Rollins, I think.
It's usually or Ambrose.
Or Ambrose. Yeah, you're right.
Reigns never takes. So I mean, obviously they must have an intent. That intention. And I mean, I'd be. I mean, and to cool to
all three gentlemen's credit, they, for when they first got started, this triple powerbomb was like their finisher.
Yeah.
But now they each have their own finisher. Like Reigns has his spear. Ambrose does like I guess some kind of a DDT.
Yeah.
And Ambrose does like a knee from the top rope, I think, to somebody's forehead. Pretty. So I mean,
it's a cool. Each finisher suits them well, I think. And
like I said, I mean. To me, Ambrose is the psychological guy. He really looks like he wants to psychologically beat the hell out of somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, he does. He has almost like the face of a murderer, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, he just has that bad guy look that you want to hate.
Yeah.
Reigns, that spear.
He does a good spear.
It looks vicious. I mean, it looks like it.
It always looks.
I'm not gonna say Bill Goldberg-ish, but it's definitely
got the force. Some of them are pretty.
Yeah, it's got the force of a Bill Goldberg spear, I think.
Yeah.
Especially if he runs fast enough.
Yeah.
And he does have speed to him. That's the one thing too. He does have.
Yeah, he does.
He's not just your big guy.
Yeah.
And Amber, and Rollins, much like Ring of Honor, he's the boat master, I think.
Yeah.
He's replaced Dolph Ziggler as
a
boat
high flyer. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see
when this team eventually splits, which I think is going to be sooner than later. I think it's.
Yeah, and I mean, and definitely by the Royal Rumble too. I mean, that could be interesting with those three guys. Being separate.
Like I said, WrestleMania it could be a triple threat Shield match.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I would think. Who's the the best of the Shield?
I mean, how when Legacy brought up that's what they did. Technically, it was a handicap match between Cody and Ted against Randy, but it was triple threat. I mean, really, they pretty much double teamed Randy for most of the match because really they were still both heels in that. But but no, I can see a Shield triple threat match at WrestleMania. Just
here, there's a nice balance for each guy. It'd be unpredictable. Who would come out on top?
I think that could open up the card. Why not? They open up the card.
That could be
at last year's WrestleMania. This could. They could open up and they could do like the whole. Well, last year these guys are teaming up, and this year they're facing each other.
Right.
I mean, look, you got three young guys that are hungry that everybody sees each as maybe a potential main eventer, world champion.
Yeah.
Chance to see these guys shine on the big stage. Just them in the ring, nobody else.
Yeah.
Because really, we've seen what these guys can do with everybody else in the ring. Because I think at this point they've pretty much faced everybody on the roster at least once.
Yeah.
But no, I'd love to see these guys actually fight each other. I mean, this would be. I mean, like I said, I don't know that's WWE's plan, but if they want to me, that's where you do it. WrestleMania triple threat match.
Yeah. So now that closing segment, I didn't have too much. It was fun to watch, but throughout the night, what did you think of the whole thing with like
Big Show
with the words, extortion, this and discrimination? It's like if
I'm still trying to buy the whole idea. One guy somehow has gotten a corporation on its knees to the point where they have to settle a lawsuit and come up with the most ridiculous demands I've heard in my life.
And I mean, it's like they're pointing out like all these things that like Triple H and Stephanie McMahon said.
Not to mention the way they took this whole feud. Each commercial break showing some highlight from this feud back to me almost guarantees you that the whole point of the Daniel Bryan Orton feud was not to put over Daniel Bryan. It was to put over the Big Show.
At least not
because almost in all of those videos, Daniel Bryan was either knocked out or he was like he was involved in this segment somewhat, but he wasn't the center of attention. It was the Big Show.
Yeah.
Again, you can't miss the guy. He's a giant, but my God.
Yeah.
Does he need to be pushed to the moon again?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think in the long run that, Daniel Bryan might win the Royal Rumble and go on to win at WrestleMania.
Yeah, we'll see.
So, at least now, they might get this out of the way with Big Show.
I'd foresee CM Punk there and there, too. He's never won a Royal Rumble.
Those two guys,
Chris Jericho never won a Royal Rumble in his career either, and he's never going to win a Royal Rumble in his career at this point.
Nor Money in the Bank briefcase.
No, and he's
surprisingly.
He supposed to come up with the idea too when he was this gimmick started.
Yeah. So, definitely Punk and Bryan I think are the favorites for
at this point. Rumble. If you got to pick somebody, it's Punk and Bryan. But again, like I said, usually around I think TLC we can start seeing maybe a dark horse emerge.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll definitely see. But yeah, I mean, go back to the whole Big Show, like with the that stuff goes on in WWE on a weekly basis. With the whole discriminating Big Show based on his size and this and that. I mean, this stuff goes on. Apparently there could be lawsuits every week. Then if so I mean, I didn't buy that. I really didn't buy that whole idea. Of pointing out.
God. I would have laughed. They actually would have had it be that Big Show actually bought the company and was the temporary owner.
Yeah. And
he does kind of like a Stone Steve Austin where he actually like walks into the office, fires some people, hires some buddies, and then just screws up Triple H's office, which is technically his office now. I mean, or like screw up some like Vince McMahon's personal possessions. I mean, because it's kind of like I said, the Austin feud. That's what he did. They actually did segments where he was actually at Titan Tower, in board meetings. He drinking beer, like wearing a flannel shirt and jeans, and actually walks up to some guy. And goes, "What's your name?" And the guy's like, "Fred." Well, Fred, what do you do here? Oh, I do marketing. Oh, it sounds like a bullshit job, pretty much. But she says, how many years? Years, and he goes, 25 years. Oh, well, that's 25 too much for me. You're fired. And Joe's like, my guy just fired a guy. He's been there for 25 years. And Jim Ross is like, yeah, but he's a corporate stooge. So, and Austin like hires the beer guy as to take his job, and he says, okay, your job's to do his job, but then phone me a beer time. I want a beer. Can you do that? So he's like, yeah, well, there they go, you're hired.
So, but yeah, I mean, nevertheless, I mean, the ending segment I thought was pretty good.
Well, let's face it, the thing that won this segment from like dreading it to loving it was, as I like to call it now, Libertarian Kane just showed up.
Right.
I don't know if that's what they're going with it there, but please let it
Kane
be.
in a suit. Yeah. How about that?
Kane in a suit, all corporate like. I mean, you would have thought he was running for maybe a local election in the area. I mean, after all, today is election day,
Yeah.
and it is mainly local elections. But oh my god, when I saw that, I'm like, man, is he running for office or
Yeah.
something? Or
So that's an interesting.
I'm hoping we get I'm hoping we get JBL because JBL was just Bradshaw
Yeah.
expressing like his conservative beliefs in a more extreme way.
Right.
And Kane, I know, is a devout Ron Paul libertarian supporter in real life, and I would not mind him coming out and just sprouting. Even though I am a liberal, pretty much political views in that, I want to be entertained, and a libertarian Kane is going to be entertaining as hell.
Yeah.
It's also original. I mean,
even
to me, he needs a new theme song. No, the whole fire and brimstone thing doesn't work with this.
Especially
gimmick.
if he comes out in a suit.
Exactly.
And
he's got like a corporate song to it. Like JBO has the stock market bells in his theme song and that.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what he does. He kind of is kind of a small investor in that. And
yeah.
But no, I mean for Kane, I don't know. I don't want to copy the Zeb Coulter like American, but like and maybe an American flag thing. Yeah. I mean, because I think libertarians. That's what I think about pretty much. Is people view themselves as very patriotic people. Who believe directly in the United States Constitution. I mean, I just think of somebody who really views himself as a patriot. Whether that's how society views them or not doesn't matter. But that's how they view themselves. I think as being very patriotic people.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's what I'm hoping we get. We might just get corporate Kane here, which still is unique for this guy here. I mean, but as in that new theme song.
Yeah.
Fire and Brimstone doesn't work. I think with this here.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean that was an interesting aspect of it. Big Show kind of coming back and teasing Triple H was pretty interesting. And then of course the Shield coming down. I was waiting for them to get involved because I was like they haven't been involved yet tonight, and so it was good when they came down, and that was definitely an interesting way to.
Well, especially since the Wyatt family got their moments, and you're like, oh, the Shield can't let this happen. I mean,
so
that's kind of the sad part too. No Shield Wyatt family feud.
Yeah.
I mean, the difficult part is going to be, I think was going to be who to turn the face and whether a heel versus heel would work, but that's something else you can cross off, I guess.
And then the thing is too. I mean, they don't want to turn Ambrose, face.
No,
obviously,
they want to keep him. He wouldn't work as a face either.
So it might.
Rollins could work because of the bumps he takes.
Yeah,
and let's face it, Reigns is just the beast in there, and I think Langston proves you can win easily with that.
Yeah,
if you're slightly entertaining and can perform decently, I think you can definitely win some fans in WWE.
Yeah, and definitely since he's also pretty quick for.
Not to mention he's The Rock's cousin.
Yeah,
and The Rock has mentioned that a few interviews that this is his family. He's following the family legacy right now, and who knows, might actually get a world title reign, which means that they can. Well, I don't know. Yokozuna had one. I'm trying to think how many members of the Rock's families have at least a world title reign. Not everybody.
Yeah.
Some people came close. Umaga came close at one time.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, like I said, Yokozuna comes to mind. But that's about it. I can't really think of anybody else. I mean, Rock's dad never held a world title. I think his grandfather might have held one, maybe. But it wasn't WWE though.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, I guess that's all we have for this. Yeah. I mean, there's not too much more to really explain.
I mean, we're pretty much getting close to the road to WrestleMania though.
Yeah, we can
kind of spot some stuff happening.
Yeah, we got Survivor Series coming up.
Then TLC.
Wait and see how they build.
And then the Royal Rumble.
TLC. Yeah.
And then Elimination Chamber, and then WrestleMania from the New Orleans, and
Yeah.
Hopefully the power doesn't go out this year.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
And who knows? Maybe around that time, maybe we get that message that the City of Brotherly Love is hosting one since WrestleMania 15.
Yeah.
Except Lincoln Fair should feel a little different than the Spectrum.
Yeah.
Which I still think that's what we had the last time.
Yeah.
I don't think First Union. What was it? First Union or something?
It's First Union. Yeah.
I don't think that was built yet.
Yeah.
I think it was still the Spectrum.
I think late 90s. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm guessing the Spectrum.
Yeah, the First Union Center became the Wachovia Center, and I think the Wells
And of course,
Fargo Center.
that WrestleMania was famous for Austin Rock won.
Yeah,
really pretty much made The Rock a main eventer. I mean, at this point, I think The Rock was the whole Mankind feud made Rock a main eventer, but this really established Rock as a guy the company was not going to throw away anytime soon.
Right.
Not to mention, I think it kind of ended the Vince McMahon feud temporarily. because it ends with Vince getting a stunner from Austin.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the rest of the card was okay. I mean, we had Butterbean knock out Bart Gunn, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
Boy, I don't know. And Big Bossman got hung from a cell. I don't know. Since the man's dead right now, I don't think that's something the company wants to look back on in a proud moment.
Yeah.
Not to mention the guys that did it, that helped the Undertaker out, were like Edge, Christian, and Gangrel up in the cell.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So.
Which I think might have been their first WrestleMania appearance too. I mean, it wasn't their first match, but I think that was Edge, Christian, and Gangrel. That was the Brood's first WrestleMania appearance.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, some interesting things coming out of this Raw.
Yeah, I mean,
and
we'll see what happens next week. I'm guessing more. I'm guessing a lot more Big Show comedy.
Yeah, maybe see what happens on SmackDown. You know, see who they throw in there.
I mean, obviously obviously the matches look like it's going to be Big Show. Well, that's already been
for Survivor Series. Yeah,
but I don't see Big Show winning.
Yeah.
In fact, I see him facing Triple H at TLC then, pretty much.
It can lead.
That's what it feels more like. It feels like Orton's just there because they got nobody for him right now as an opponent.
Yeah. So
I mean, you know, Cena, Del Rio. I'm curious who Cena faces after Del Rio because there's no way in hell Del Rio's winning the pre-match.
Right.
And you know, the Wyatt family takes on Punk and Bryan.
That's what it looks like. Yeah. Maybe see if they recruit somebody with them. I mean,
I'm curious who the Wyatt family's going to recruit. I'm curious who would be stupid enough to work with this family.
Yeah. So.
Although they kind of threw that out the window with that whole on the stage because I mean that got criticized. The Wyatts kind of come as like this whole we do whatever we want. And all of a sudden, Triple H, because what's the meeting, and they're out there with the rest of the locker room.
Yeah.
And they're kind of in a corner, like nobody wants to be near them. But still, people are like right near them and not like freaking out, like that they're right next to this crazy family.
Right.
So, once again, continuity, people. Would it kill you to have some continuity?
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see what goes down on SmackDown and see what goes down on Raw, and then be back here next week to talk about it on the Great Wrestling Debate. Here on the YouTube channel. So thanks for tuning in as always.